Today we're going to be going over a basic tutorial for MCEdit. In this tutorial we will check the version of Windows, we are going to download MCEdit, we are going to download some cool schematics, and we're also going to create a flat world to edit. Finally, we'll actually learn the controls for MCEdit. This is a map that was created using the power of MCEdit. This map took about 30 minutes to create in total. You'll be learning how to do this today. Alright, first we need to figure out what version of Windows we're running. I'm going to go ahead and left click on Start, right click on Computer, and left click on Properties. You can clearly see I'm on a 64-bit operating system. This will come in handy when we're trying to download MCEdit. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this and open up Chrome. Alright, to find MCEdit you can simply type in MCEdit, or you can click on the link in the description. I'm going to go ahead and go to the site, and I'm on a Windows machine, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Windows. And I just checked that I'm on a 64-bit, so this is obviously the correct link. I'm going to go ahead and download it to my desktop and hit save. So if I minimize this, I'll see that there's a zip file on my desktop. I need to unzip this so I can open this with WinRAR, or I can open it with 7-zip. I'm going to right click, go to 7-zip, and go to Open Archive. Alright, I'm going to put this all in a folder, but I don't have that folder yet, so I need to right click in the desktop and go to New Folder. I'm going to call this folder MCEdit. Now I'm going to highlight all of the things that I'm going to extract, which is all three of these. Click on the extract, and then I'm going to navigate to the folder by clicking the Browse button, and scroll down to the MCEdit folder that I just created, hit OK, OK, and then it will extract it. You can close out of this. You can double click on MCEdit, the folder that we just created, to check if we have indeed extracted it, and that is correct. So now we don't need the zip folder, so I can go ahead and delete this. Alright, so now we need to download some schematics. I'm going to go back to Chrome, and I'm going to type in Minecraft schematics. I'm just going to click on the first link, although there are many websites that are good for downloading schematics. To show an example of a schematic, I'm going to just download a random one of these. Looks like a Broadway building is our first choice. You do need an account to download schematics from this website, but it's very easy to do that. I'm going to go ahead and download world save file, and we have to wait for AdFly to go through. There we go. And download. Also to our desktop, go ahead and hit save, and then we can get out of this. I also have a road schematic that I pre-downloaded. You can download that in the description as well. Alright, so now that I'm actually ready to run MCEdit, I'm actually going to create a flat world so I can play on MCEdit. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Minecraft. I am running on version 1.7.4. You should always run on the most recent version of Minecraft. If you don't know how to do that, you can go ahead and click Edit Profile, and under Use Version, make sure you're selecting Use Latest Version. Save Profile and play. The reason that you want to use the latest version is there might be some blocks in schematics that aren't compatible with your older version of Minecraft. I'm going to go ahead and click on Single Player, Create New World, and I'm going to call this world Flatland Awesome. The game mode, I'm going to change this to creative, that way I can get through the world faster. And under more world options, I'm going to left click on world type default to change it to world type super flat. You can customize this if you want, but I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to turn generate structures off just so that it's completely blank, and all the other settings here are correct. So now I'm going to create my new world. Alright. I have my world created. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape so I can change some of the options. Under difficulty, you should change this to peaceful, just so that there are less creatures. And then hit done, and back to game. So you can see that it is indeed a flat world. So this is important. You need to exit out of Minecraft. The reason that you need to do this is you cannot be playing on the map that you're going to be editing. So once you are exited out of Minecraft, go ahead and double click on MCEdit, the folder that you extracted MCEdit to, and the application for MCEdit is the type application, or it will be MCEdit.exe. Double click on that. It will create this black window in the background, and make sure that you don't close that, otherwise it will exit out of MCEdit. When it asks that, or this is the warning that tells you that you are not supposed to run on Minecraft while you're editing maps. I'm gonna say that. Enable error reporting, we don't need to do that. Alright, we've already created our world, so I'm gonna go ahead and load world. I'm gonna do Flatland Awesome and load that. Alright, you'll see a screen that looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and X out of the folder in the background and maximize my MCEdit. Alright, so I'm going to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing by putting up a keyboard. Alright, so in order to get out of the layer that you're in right now, I'm going to tap Q, and Q moves me in the up direction. By right-clicking, I can look around. I'm holding the right mouse button to look around. You can also simply right-click once and then look around, and then right-click again to get back. It's all about your preference. I can move around using the WASD keys. W is forward, S is backwards, D is strafe right, A is strafe left, Q goes up, Z goes down. You can go through blocks in this world editor, which is very helpful. And we should get started with our tools now. So I'm going to just be going over the basic tools. This is for like an intro to MCEdit. So if I hit 1 on my keyboard, it will go to my select tool. And then if I left click out here, then it will select the dirt blocks, and then I'll left click again to end my selection. So right now these dirt blocks in this top layer are selected. I can look around at this if I want, practice my controls. If I want to increase the area, I can see how this top area of the rectangle is grayed in. That means that if I left click and hold it down and drag up, it will drag the area up. You might want it so that the selection tool is not selecting the grass on the bottom, so it's a little bit difficult to select the bottom layer, but you do that by just hovering near the edges, and then you can see how the bottom layer is grayed out right now. And then I'm going to left click and drag this one up one. Once it's orange, you know that it's on the top layer, and if it's orange up here, you know that it's above ground. So making sure that it's just barely above ground. And of course you can change the sides as well, so I can drag the sides over this way or over this way. So you should definitely practice with the selection tool a little bit. If I want to deselect, I can just go ahead and hit deselect over here, and that's a selection tool. So the next tool is the brush tool. I can hit 2 on my keyboard or just left click the brush tool. The default brush is the round brush, and if I click my left mouse button, then it will place this block within the dirt. I don't want that, so I'm going to hit Control Z, and then it will get rid of that. If I want to change the shape of the brush, I can left click on round to change it to square. I can change it to a bunch of shapes. There's a diamond, round, and then it cycles through. I'm going to leave it on round for now. If I right click, it will bring the object close to me. It'll be 10 blocks away to begin with. If I scroll out with my mouse, it will go out. If I scroll in, it will bring it closer to me. If I want to place it in the air, I just left click again, and there it is in the air. But I don't want that right now, so I'm going to hit Control Z to get rid of it. Control Z is just the undo, as it is in most programs. So I'm going to show you guys a little cool trick that you can do. So I'm going to make a sphere, and I'm going to make it hollow. So to do that, I need to right click to get my mouse back. I'm going to make this 15 by 15 by 15, so I can manually type 15, or I can just hover over the width without actually clicking and then scroll up to 15, but it's usually faster to just type in 15. And you guessed it, yeah, it is the hollow button, and then I can make a hollow dome. This is unimpressive because you can't really see that it's see-through, so I'm going to make this out of glass. To change the type of blocks that it's made out of, you simply left click on the type of block, and then I can close out of this auto hotkey program so that I can type, and then I can type in glass, and then hit OK. And now you will be able to see that it's see-through once you place it. So I don't want to place it in the dirt, so I'm going to right click and scroll out to push it far away, and then I will left click to place it. and then I can hit 1 so I'm not trying to place another block so I can see easier. Alright, so if I go in the glass sphere, I can see that it is indeed hollow, which is very cool. So that's the basic tool for the brush. The clone tool is next. So to clone, the first step is to select an area with your select tool, the first tool. So you have to left click on this and then select an area. The basic area shouldn't matter that much because you can always edit it later. So I'm going to create an area like so, and then I'm going to change the shape of the area so that the whole sphere is selected. And then you can of course change the walls so that your selection is more precise. It doesn't matter that much just because this is a demonstration. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on my clone tool, and then you have your kind of advanced options to rotate it, but since it's a sphere, it's not really being rotated that much. You won't be able to tell. I need to actually make sure that I'm not selecting the grass, so I'm going to go back to my select tool, and then I'm going to, I need to click on my select tool and then click on the bottom layer and bring that up so I'm not copying grass, otherwise that would just be horrible. Going back to my clone tool, you can the easiest part for the cloning tool is just to like type it in manually, 15, and you can see that it moves at 15. You can also use the scroll wheel to see how it copies it a certain distance. This is the X, Y, and Z coordinate, so you can see that if I hover away from it, and then if I scroll up, it'll move it up in the Y. If I go up in the Z direction, it will move it in the positive Z direction. And then I can go ahead and hit clone, but I can also make it so that it repeats 4 times, and you can see how it clones it like that. I'm going to actually change these all to 0 so it goes in a straight line, and then I'm going to make sure that this is a little bit more so it doesn't clone them on top of each other, and hit clone. And it'll take a bit of time to do that, but once it's done cloning, we can see that we have indeed made a bunch of spheres. And then I can go ahead and hit deselect and see, wow, I've made a bunch of spheres very fast. Okay, the next tool is the fill and replace. So I'm going to go back down to ground level a little bit more by pressing Z. And then I'm going to select an area. So I'm going to select a giant box that comes off the ground. I don't want it in the ground, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And say I want to fill this with diamond blocks. I just go ahead and type in diamond block, and then it doesn't actually fill it until you hit that fill button, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And if I hit deselect, it filled it with diamond. That whole selection is now diamond. The replace tool is also very useful, so if I have this selected by hitting Control Z, because that was the last thing that I did, now it's selected again. If I go to the fill and replace, and I have it as a block of diamond right now, if I want to replace, I just click on the replace button, and then if I want to replace it with air, that's basically deleting it. I can replace it with air there, or I can replace it with stone, and I can hit OK, and then I can hit replace. And I have turned all of my diamond blocks into stone. What a monster. By hitting Control Z, I'm going to select it once again. And it's also important to note that with your first function you can delete blocks with your select tool. So I can go ahead and hit delete blocks, or I could hit Control Z a bunch of times to get rid of it, and deselect, and it's like it was never there. Alright, so the next tool that we're going to be using, and the most important tool in my opinion for this video, is the import tool. So if you left click on import, you'll see that there are no schematics in your default file, so we're going to add those manually right now. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize MCEdit and minimize the black screen behind it. Now both of these files are the schematic files that we downloaded, so I'm going to open up the MCEdit folder, and in the schematics folder we need to double click on that and manually drag the schematic files into it. You can use the import tool and navigate to desktop and then find it that way, but that's a little bit tedious, and if it's always in the default folder, which is MCEdit schematics, then you can just select it from there right away. So I'm going to just show you an example of a Broadway building. So I'm going to left click on this, open. Oh my gosh, this is so huge. Alright, so I'm going to zoom away from this a little bit. I think I might have flipped this upside down. It looks like that is exactly what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this right side up by hitting the F button. Alright, so I haven't placed it yet, If I left click now, it's basically placed it down, but I haven't imported yet. You can kind of see that there's this empty layer beneath it, so I actually need to make sure that that's not there. So to make it move down, you left click nudge and hold down your left mouse button and hit Z, and that will move it down one. So now it's the perfect level, so everything is correct about it. I don't need to rotate it, I don't need to roll, flip, or mirror it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit import or enter, and then I have a new Broadway building in about 10 seconds after downloading it, of course. I can go ahead and hit deselect. I can fly through the wall and see on the inside it's basically empty, which is a little bit sad. And that is the building that we have just imported super fast. You can also use some other cool tools. So if you have your road that's imported, I'm going to go ahead and import that right now, and I left click to place it on the ground. I'm going to make sure that it's indeed on the ground layer, and it is. So if I hit import, it will already be selected, which is the first step for cloning. So I can go ahead and click clone right after I import it, and then if I want to import it, and then if I want to clone it and move it 15 blocks, not more, because otherwise there's going to be a gap. I'm actually going to go 15 in the other direction, so I'm going to scroll this way, or type in -15, and then I'm going to repeat this for 15 times and hit clone, and then it'll create this long road for me. So that's the easy way to make roads in your city, and then go ahead and hit deselect. Alright, I also need to make sure that I save this world, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S, and that will pop up with a little bar. It'll take a little bit longer if you have a lot of stuff that you generated, like this giant tower. Once you hit Control S, we're going to make sure that this worked, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of this by closing out there or hitting Alt F4. I'm going to go ahead and open Minecraft, and then I'm going to play on the world that we just edited, which was Flatland Awesome. So go ahead, single player, Flatland Awesome, play selected, and we will see that we have created this awesome world, and there's our giant building that we can go and run through. That is the basics for MCEdit. If you guys have any questions or comments, you should leave them in the comment section below. And I'll be coming out with a video that's a little bit more advanced for MCEdit that includes filters and some other cool things. Thanks for watching.